Tonight we're going to take a look at new developments in the Las Vegas shooting of last week, as though there were a lot of other ones to pick from, I guess. We are also going to talk with a targeted individual later in the program, and he is going to attempt to convince us that there is a multi-million-dollar yearly budget dedicated just to stalking him, and by stalking he means vehicles driving by and planes flying overhead. But we are going to give him a shot to convince us. So that's later in the show. We're also going to take a look at Eminem's scathing, absolutely blistering, unbelievable, quote, freestyle. Why do people call written verses freestyles constantly, Alex?
I don't know, but that's deplorable if you ask me.
Yeah. By the way, good to have you here. Thanks for coming, Andrea and David.
Yeah. The eagle has landed.
Andrea and David Box are not here again. Honestly, they're really starting to piss me off. They won't fucking get back to me. It's like no effort being made. They just don't care about doing the show anymore. I guess. Maybe things will change when I get back up there. I don't know. What else are we doing later tonight? We've got a strange Supreme Court case and how your mind can be hijacked. Blah, blah, blah. October 12th, 2017. This is the Overdose Talk Show.
Yeah.
All right. People are so fucking stupid. I saw this comment on one of our last videos. By the way, we gotta be careful with the copyright stuff. Kid Rock is getting all of our money. Kid Rock is gonna make 80 cents on our whatever show we did a week ago or whatever. And look at this comment. This guy Jimmy Johnston. I guess we joked around, Alex, about how you tripped over your InfoWars air purifier. We're joking about that. And Jimmy Johnston comments, "He's a fictional character, shills." You know.
Wait, so we're shills?
Jimmy Johnston, go fuck yourself.
Fuck you, Jimmy Johnston.
What is wrong with? I mean, did we sit there and go, "Oh, well, you got to listen to Alex Jones. He knows everything." Blah, blah. Like, if anything, we always take him with a grain of salt. I've tried for years to make that guy into a fraud. I could never really come up with any solid evidence, though. I mean, he doesn't talk about Jews. Whoopee. I don't know.
Yeah. That's usually, on forums, that's usually the one thing.
Yeah.
You know, he has an ex-Jewish wife. What are you going to say about that?
Right.
I don't know.
It's buffoonery, if you ask me. Anyways, let's talk Harvey Weinstein or Stein. I don't know what is it. Speaking of Jews, I had never honestly heard of Harvey Weinstein. Had you?
Well, when they talk about the guy, it's like he's somebody you should know about.
Yeah,
but yeah.
I guess if you're obsessed with like the entertainment industry and Hollywood and stuff, you would probably know this guy. Right. I don't fucking know any. I never know any of these. People are always talking about giant stars. I'm like, who the fuck? It's it's amazing the tunnel vision you can get with shit like that. I just don't see it. I don't know who these people are. But everybody's really surprised that there's these big. There's this big Hollywood guy. What is he? He's a director and shit.
Yeah, but he's also real political and Democrat. Yeah,
okay. And everyone's very surprised that this guy could be sexually harassing women and trying to pressure them into sex and all this stuff. And yeah, the flood walls just opened and all these people started coming out saying, yeah, for years and years and years this has been going on. This guy has been just using his power to coerce women into sex, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, there's been a lot of accusers, but did you see the people who came out and defended him too? Because it was weird. There was a mix. Lindsay Lohan live streamed herself all the way from Dubai. She's living in Dubai now.
She live streamed herself giving him a blowjob.
No, but just like praising him.
This is totally consensual.
Yeah, exactly. No, I guess that's a whole nother topic we could talk about another time, is how crazy Lindsay Lohan is, and she's like fully into Islam now. But
yeah,
there's people that are saying this could never be true, but there's a lot of accusers saying it is true.
But it strikes me as really funny that people are so surprised by this. We had, hold on, let me find this. Well, here's a quote from Obama. Any man who demeans and degrades women in such fashion needs to be condemned and held accountable, regardless of wealth or status.
I agree.
While Clinton, of all people, said such behavior cannot be tolerated. Priceless.
Disagree.
Yeah, I guess Obama doesn't have to worry about that because we all know he's married to a man. Thank you.
Tranny.
Thank you. The Clinton.
Your wife has a dick.
Who settled more cases of fucking sexual harassment and abuse than Bill Clinton? Jesus Christ. Fucking hypocrites. Hypocrites.
Yeah. Like, okay, there's a ton of people that get falsely accused of stuff, but when it happens that many times with circumstantial evidence,
sure.
And then, I mean, it's to a ridiculous extent with Bill Clinton. But still, people love him.
Yeah,
some people do.
That's just a weird way that politics works.
Yeah.
I'll never quite understand it.
He has a blue tie, so he can't do anything wrong.
Oh, right. Okay. And the Film Academy released a statement calling Weinstein's alleged behavior repugnant, abhorrent, and antithetical to the high standards of the Academy and the creative community it represents. No. The creative community that you represent has been running on an economy of child rape since the 40s, probably even the 20s. I don't know. But, I mean, look at whatever. I didn't prepare this segment, but you look up all the early starlets around MGM studios and shit like that. They were all getting fucked when they were 13, 14 and shit. This is just how it works. This is like I said, this is the backroom economy of Hollywood. And it comes out time and again. It used to be a
little more accepted back then. Now it's not.
Right, I know, but it's still this idea that it's, oh my God, I can't believe. Come on. Yeah. Jesus Christ. See, I just assume that this is kind of, I always think of the Mr. Show sketch. Do you remember this? When the lawyer is going to, he's interviewing for his job at the big law firm, and they're explaining to him how things really work. This is like how I think of Hollywood.
We will await your answer. Well, you don't have to wait, because the answer is no. Okay? So you can keep your homes and your country clubs and your blowjobs, because I'm going to be the best damn lawyer in this country. And I'm going to go to court. And
See, they want him to blow them for this job.
Against you and your fat cat clients, and I'm going to win.
Oh, my. He's going to win.
What?
Do you really believe that court cases are decided by juries making decisions based on evidence and lawyers' arguments?
Oh, Danny, how could you be so naive?
Dan, court cases are decided by a series of blowjobs. In fact, our entire civilization is built on blowjobs. Everything from medicine.
I thought that was worth playing real quick. But yeah, that's how I think of it. I don't know. I can't believe anybody's surprised.
Yeah, it's like when the crocodile hunter got killed. You're surprised?
Right, exactly. Yeah. This guy that fucking yanks around on dinosaurs all the fucking time got killed.
Yeah, yanking around on dinosaurs, yeah.
I can't believe it. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what he did. Yes. Find something really dangerous and yank on it.
Yeah, basically, like, just agitate the most dangerous thing I can find.
That's what my girlfriend did last night. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I hear what you're saying.
I got that danger dick. So
do not cross.
What about this ID law in Illinois? Well, I guess it has to do with the Real ID Act from a few years back. I went on the Department of Homeland Security website. I like to check in with them every once in a while to remind myself about this.
Hey, so our assistant never sent me that article, so I don't have it.
Oh, yes. I'll have to whip him with strange phallic objects.
Yes,
later.
please do.
Effective immediately, the Department of Homeland Security will conduct outreach to educate the traveling public about the timeline below, blah, blah, blah. They're laying out a timeline that they want to implement certain requirements for state-issued IDs and stuff. And they're talking about the TSA in coordination with airlines and airport stakeholders will begin to issue web-based advisories and notifications, traveling public, blah, blah, blah. Passengers with a driver's license issued by a state that is not compliant with the Real ID Act will have to show an alternative form of acceptable identification. So they're trying to implement like federal ID cards, basically, you know. And also, now from what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing, there is an element to this that they use it to classify you as security risks with the TSA and things like that. Like you're basically getting, now it takes about 3 weeks, I guess, to get your ID. Remember how they used to just print it, right, and get it in 5 minutes. And now I guess it takes 3 weeks, and in the meantime they'd like run a background check, and then your background history is encoded in your ID for easy scanning purposes in security situations. Now we're getting pretty creepy here, right?
This is like getting a little like socialist. Like you have a social score now, and if you're not,
I know, you commit too many burglaries, you beat too many people up, and everybody starts getting all up in arms.
Getting a couple of fights, and now you're a bad guy.
I know. Illinois applicants will no longer get their permanent driver's licenses and ID cards right away, this says, like I said, as the state changes to a background checking system to comply with federal Real ID requirements. There it is, right there in black and white. That means anyone hoping to get an Illinois driver's license ID card will instead get a temporary paper, blah, 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 valid for 45 days. There you go. I mean, there's no stopping this, right? We're just headed straight to hell, pretty much.
I mean, they can kiss my grits.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I fight everything. Like, I didn't sign up for Obamacare. Like, I feel like you can fight some of this stuff. I don't know if you could fight this, actually. But
you probably would have been too lazy to sign up for Obamacare, even if you supported it, though.
I know. I would have fucking got confused on the website. But, no, I was not going to do that.
No, I know. It's ridiculous. I still have a hard time believing that I can ever really be in trouble for not buying insurance. I'd have to see it to believe it. Anyways, moving right along, new developments in the Las Vegas shooting. Crisis actors, everybody's talking about. I don't know about this. I find it if we're talking about an evil conspiracy, I find it so much more plausible that they just go ahead and kill some people rather than involve what would have to be hundreds, if not thousands, of actors. In this case, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you might say, okay, they just create a panic and get everybody running, which is kind of what it looks like. That's the weird thing. The videos, I feel weird. It doesn't seem like it makes sense. You don't see really anybody hurt. You don't see anybody get hit. You just kind of see a lot of like weird meandering confusion, and then you hear the gunshots, and eventually there's like a panic that builds up and stuff, and I don't know. It does look weird, but I find it hard to believe that they could control something like this with crisis actors, especially. Sorry, Alex, I'll let you go in a second. Especially when the amount of these events that have taken place and the amount of times people have thought crisis actors were involved. If they're really employing, like people say, oh, there's Craigslist ads for crisis actors all the time and blah. Like, if they're employing the general public, don't you think 1, 2, or 50 truthers would have snuck their way in there by now and gotten some kind of proof of this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think the crisis actors thing, people take that a little too far. Like, I totally see something like with the Sandy Hook thing. That's a great example. The parents that were interviewed, like, that was very weird looking.
Oh, and it doesn't mean they can't have like a few plants to tell the story that they want told. But yeah, so what's this? So they bought like 51 concert tickets and had all these people play dead as everyone ran away. Right. And they shot blanks. Yeah. Why not just shoot people if you're that evil and you're so, in control and up to all this, mind control and blah, blah, blah.
We're assuming that it's a conspiracy then. Why not just shoot people? Because that's what I'm saying. Devil's advocate, it could just be a crazy dude, but I'm leaning heavily towards a conspiracy.
Well, it depends what you think, and there's two choices here. Was this done, with a motive in mind? Did someone, obviously there's people that stand to gain from these events. We outlined that on the last show we did about this, the security industry and body scanners and blah, 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 rapid scan and all that stuff. Obviously there's people that stand to gain, but do you lean towards, hey, this was done with a motive in mind, or this was done for absolutely no reason in an absurd fashion that no one can quite make any sense of? That's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, what is this, the whole thing, the more it settles in my mind, 23 rifles all the way up on the 32nd floor, shooting however the fuck far, 1,000 feet away from him and hitting this many people at a higher rate than any sniper ever. You know what I mean? Like, and I've heard a bunch of people talk about this and say, look, if you think it's that easy to hit people just because they're in a crowd, like, ask anybody who hunts about, like, shooting into a flock of ducks or whatever. It's really not that easy,
Right.
Anyways,
yeah, people scatter quickly. I don't know. There's a lot of things that have come up with this that have been sketchy. Haven't they changed the narrative 4 times now, or maybe 5 times?
Everything keeps changing. The security guard.
The time-wise,
we've heard a bunch of different stories
right.
about this security guard, this mysterious security guard who supposedly got shot and survived. First, he got shot through the door. Then it was that he
was running away and he got shot in the leg.
Yeah, there was all this different stuff. And then it comes out, people are running this guy's name and finding out that he's not certified to work that job or something like that.
Yeah, here, I actually did that. I got it right here. Nevada private investigator's license. It's a government website. You can search anyone. Now, in Nevada, you have to be a certified, like, to be security or private eye or anything, you have to have the certification. And you can search anyone's name. And I found 2 different spellings of this guy's name in different articles. So I tried every spelling that I found, and I even tweaked it around just in case they got it wrong. And every way I spelt it, nothing came up on this guy. This guy was not a registered security guard in Nevada, which is illegal and hard to believe that an MGM-owned casino would be that, just overlook something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not inconceivable that somebody might get away with something like that, but it is strange, at a place that security's taking that seriously. That would be really surprising. But also, like, then what does that mean? So, you know what I mean? What does that mean? Does that mean, so this guy's in on it? Why even have him as part of the narrative? That doesn't even make sense. Like, why enter him into the story if it's all fake or it's all whatever?
They threw him into the story. I remember the police chief or someone come out, say this guy is a hero trying to fight this guy.
Maybe because they always do need that hero thing injected. There is always that in most of these major events that people think.
But they didn't do their due diligence to just look and. I know
that's what makes this stuff so you feel silly coming up with some of this stuff because it's like, why would they do that? Right. Okay, I agree. It's kind of weird that the guy's not in the database of these people with this certification, but why would they be that stupid? Like, would they really be, you know what I mean? Some of this stuff starts to make me think that it's done on purpose to just make, people that are prone to this way of thinking, start spouting off about it and sounding weird to people, and
right. Maybe, that could be. Every time they have an incident, they have a few things that they'll put out, some fake things, and then they have controlled opposition media push that stuff out. So the people that are interested in this start talking about it. It gets shared. And
then you focus on inconsistencies that can't possibly matter, really. Like
instead of looking at who stands to gain from this.
Right.
Who stands to gain? And I think I'm still thinking what we were talking about last week is the most plausible.
Yeah, the security industry in general. And then, these things are often multi-tier operations where, several purposes can be achieved, such as, they tried to push. First, they tried ISIS. Alex Jones, speaking of him earlier, has really latched onto that. I've seen he's convinced that somehow ISIS is involved in this. Which, I mean, again, what would that mean? If they told you, here, look, ISIS did this, would that mean ISIS did it, or would that mean Israeli intelligence did it, or U.S. or British intelligence, or
a couple of guys who buy into the whole Allah thing, did
or
it?
What exactly? What would it even fucking mean? And
what is ISIS?
And all I've seen of released videos since then. So you were telling me that you heard the FBI said that they weren't going to release or erased the surveillance video that he had set up.
Yeah, one of the something like that.
Yeah, all the cameras that he set. And why? Again, another weird thing about this, he's setting up cameras all over the place. It's just, it would be the strangest, most successful mass shooting ever. It's just
he had a body cam on, right?
I don't know about that. I did see some police body cams.
A body cam on, and he was live streaming it to ISIS. This is Alex Jones intel.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
But
what does that mean?
If it was ISIS, if ISIS is even a thing, which we could get into, why isn't the biggest enemy, Donald Trump, who's always harping against ISIS, why isn't he talking about it?
I know, especially because him and Alex Jones talk on the phone all the time, and they're good buddies.
Right? Yeah.
Over all that shit.
But I can't say anymore.
I shouldn't. That's what. I shouldn't really say anymore. Let's just say we're on a first name basis, ladies and gentlemen. And he is the real deal.
He's the real deal. When I say he's the real deal, he's the real deal.
Attempting to reinvigorate this American landscape with the veritas of our forefathers. Oh, shut up.
He's Americana, and it's fine.
Damn it! I love, dude, the fucking misdirection of InfoWars these days. It's ridiculous. This is why I hate when people are like, "Hey, don't you know he's like?" I don't even care. It's pretty transparent what they're up to. I mean, I was telling you earlier, I used to listen to him talk about cops and things like that, and he'd be really mad. He'd get pulled over, and they'd go, oh yeah,
this is funny.
You got anything in the car? I remember him doing this rant one day, like, so they asked me, you got anything illegal in the car? And that's when I thought, oh, now the investigation starts. You know what? Are you ready for a speech on government drug dealing? You're more likely to be a drug dealer than I am. No, I'm not carting around the CIA's dope to push on inner cities for you. God damn it. How does he talk like that?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't smoke cigarettes.
That's true. He smoked weed with Joe Rogan.
That was cool.
Almost cost him his kids.
I know. That was funny. When Joe Rogan was like,
I smoke it every 8 to 10 months just to test the potency as a journalist.
Yes, that was his official story.
I know.
He smokes it once a year to see what the government's doing with the potency.
Yeah. I need to monitor the psychotropic dust that they're spraying on the weed. All right.
God.
There was also the door discrepancy, as I have cleverly coined it. So we kept hearing the claim that the SWAT team or task force or whatever they were breached the hotel room where Stephen Paddock was raining bullets onto a crowd of country music fans that fateful eve. And supposedly they breached the door by explosion. That's what they kept saying. And it even is in the audio, the leaked radio, whatever audio. They're like, yeah, breaching by explosion, telling everybody to get back, blah, blah, blah. And then the news starts putting out pictures the next day of, with the crime scene tape and everything over it. The door is still there to the hotel room.
Very suspicious.
This whole thing is just so fucking creepy. It's very weird.
Wait, but it's, you know what, this almost like makes me want to think of my theory more, because the government knows better than to be lazy about false flag attacks.
No, and it's, Yeah, well, and it's not even that they know better. No, they've always been kind of bad at it, but or they've let it get out, or it's been obvious to some people.
They've had to have learned lessons, and these are simple things.
Yeah, but this is what makes me think. Like, is it on purpose? Like, I wondered that with Sandy Hook. I was like, the occult symbolism was so over the top. And all over the place. And the interviews with the parents were so fucking deliberately weird and full of trying to plant seeds about changing gun legislation. I mean, it wasn't even good acting a lot of the times. It was to the point that me and my friends were kind of going like, are they doing this on purpose? They're killing people now under a giant pyramid. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, in an obelisk.
Yeah, they just trying to make us look stupid here, like
What the on the 23rd floor, the highest level
32nd.
Mason, 32nd. Sorry,
it's not the highest. 33rd.
Okay. There's a lot of weird shit here. It almost makes you think there just are demons that are fucking possessing these people. That's why they're so evil. I mean, there's like. I'm starting to run out of any plausible explanations.
Who's so evil? Deepak Chopra?
Deepak Chopra, especially, and Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
And Weinstein. Don't get me started.
Hey, did you see this guy? All right, his YouTube channel is called Anaconda Malt Liquor 6. He made a video where it was about some other shooting that he thought was a hoax or whatever, and there's a lady standing there in pants. Now, this video came out about 2 weeks before the Las Vegas shooting, and there's this lady standing there in pants that says Las Vegas down the side of the pants, and he goes, now that's interesting. That just stands out to me. I'm wondering if there's going to be one of these big false flag shootings in Vegas pretty soon. So he just kind of says that as a side note in the middle of this other video, and yeah, lo and behold, 2 weeks later, we have this fucking thing. Just weird. I don't know. Just a note. You can go check out his channel, Anaconda Malt Liquor 6, if you want to check it out. Just, whatever. It could be, I mean, anything could be a coincidence, couldn't it? Or maybe there's no such thing as coincidence. Wait. Oh, maybe there's no such thing as coincidence. All right. Sorry.
We're not jumping. Are we there? Are we ready to talk to? Okay.
No. Not yet. No.
God.
So there we go. I don't know what to think other than the fact that, you know what I always forget in the wake of things like this? You always like, oh, there's going to be this big agenda and this big push for this and that. I always forget that everybody is dumb and pacified, and that almost works in our advantage sometimes. Like, the anti-gun crowd is going to forget about this in a little while, and it's just nothing's going to happen. So whatever, we always think like, oh God, this is it. They're going to make everyone crazy and take the guns and blah. Like, no, people are fucking still lazy and retarded. We're probably going to be fine.
That's a good point. And here's the best thing about the Second Amendment. If you're for the Second Amendment, you'll never ever change your mind because you understand why we have it.
Yeah.
And if you're against it, there's a possibility you might change your mind.
Well, there was that one guy, that news story was going around, that after this shooting, he turned in all his guns to the local police department. And
what a hero.
He called up, he said, I got a bunch of guns, and a friendly policeman showed up and shook his hand and took a nice photo for the news, and he handed them all over and said, if I can prevent... This is the strangest thing. He was like, if I can prevent a mass shooting... Like, were you planning a mass shooting? And you decided to turn in your guns? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
what do you think those cops do with those guns? You trust that he's gonna take them all back? He's not gonna sell a few?
Sometimes they do weird shit, like run them over with a steamroller. I've seen videos like that. There's like a big gun buyback, and they like melt them or fucking run them over with a steamroller or something.
I'd love to be in one of those rooms where they're like burning all the drugs that they have and accidentally catch a big whiff of some reefer.
Yeah, or one where they get killed by fentanyl. They stand there laughing. Should have put your mask on, stupid.
Like, yeah.
That's what you get for meddling with other people's business. All right, well, the only other thing I saw was Gavin Syme. I don't know if you know him. He's kind of a weirdo, but I like him because he harasses police relentlessly all the time. He's a YouTuber. I think he got kind of big with the occupation of the Malheur Forest Preserve building. Remember that thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
God, those were fun times. Boy, oh boy, that was one of my favorite stories ever. But Gavin Syme got kind of big with that whole thing, and he put out a video. I guess he's a Photoshop expert, he says, and he teaches a class on it and stuff and does it for a living, does retouching and blah, 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 whatever you call it.
Oh, I took Photoshop in high school. I could probably do what he does.
Okay, good for you. He said that this, the video that goes around of Stephen Paddock with his, with a younger Asian girl next to him, he made a pretty convincing video, too, showing kind of how it looks like it's been photoshopped and like they may not have been together, or Are you talking about the one where they visited like Saudi Arabia or wherever it was? That's the only picture.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So that okay.
That's the other thing. It's the only picture.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I've seen that, but I didn't know that was the only picture of his. So it's the
only one I've seen. I don't know if somebody else has dug anything else up by now, but
girlfriend or wife?
I don't know who the broad is.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I don't know. I mean,
but anyways, he goes over it and says it definitely looks fake. And that's another thing. Like, why wouldn't they just get somebody that had an actual picture of him? Like, why does it always have to be all this weird shit?
I know. It's like I don't know, to rub it in your nose, maybe. Maybe.
I sometimes think that they realized a while ago that we're kind of at our peak level of awareness. Like, they're like people who even entertain these ideas are all kind of there, and people who aren't going to do it are just not there. There's a split. So they can kind of just like put a bunch of shit right in front of us, and they know nobody will listen to us. I'll go downstairs to the bar right now and like try to talk about a bunch of things that I think are really important, and people just get uncomfortable,
Because every year they make the weed stronger and stronger, and then these people don't care about it anymore.
What the fuck are you talking about?
All back to Alex Jones.
All right.
But no, I agree that majority of people are so out of it all the time that it's easy to get away with this. It blows my mind that people aren't more aware. I don't get it. I'm busy during the day, but I still, in my downtime, I'm more interested in doing this than watching mindless entertainment.
Well, aren't you just a little Copernicus there? Why don't you pat yourself on your back? On the back. Pat yourself on your back, son.
Your back.
You sent me this. Nancy Pelosi keeps confusing Trump with George W. Bush. You want to do this really quick?
Yeah, I really like this.
Yeah,
she's losing her mind.
This fucking country is run by stupid pillheads. It's ridiculous. There's so
nothing that we can work, but I can work with President Bush on.
Stop. What? You just talked right over it, you fucking faggot.
This is all within the last few months. This is all within since Trump's been president.
Well, yeah, obviously. Or else why would we...
Didn't know if it was obvious. Go.
We see nothing that we can work, but I can work with President Bush on, and I'm disappointed. Understands the priorities of the American people, and they are not with President Bush. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, President Bush. I never thought I'd pray for the day that you were president again. And a lot of those people voted for what's his name?
Yeah.
The President of the United States. I'll honor the position. First he tries to charm you. President Bush tries to charm you. If that doesn't work, he tries to bully you. Clean debt ceiling.
Some guy tried to correct her.
President Bush. I'm sorry, I meant to say.
Right.
Yeah, so she does that a lot, huh?
It's happened I don't know how many times this video was, but I don't think this is all of them. And she does a lot of other weird stuff on stage. This was just my favorite thing she does, and there's a big compilation of it.
She kind of sounds like Joan Rivers.
She's insane, but she's one of the leaders in the Democratic Party.
I hope she looks like Joan Rivers soon. Get it? She's dead.
Yeah.
All right. Here, let's do this. Let's go to a break. I keep getting an echo from you. Are you
Really?
Do you have shit? All your shit is normal?
Yeah.
I'm getting my voice echoed back from you. Whatever.
I got an open window. Does it change now?
Yeah, you know what was probably happening? The sound was probably going out of your headphones, out the window, and around the world, and back into the window. We were getting a slightly delayed echo. Let's go to a quick break here, and come back with what's his name? Steve Lilly, who was kind enough to contact us and ask to come on the show, and he wants to explain this to us. I got to tell you, I do not have high hopes here, but.
Oh, come on, Vin. Let's give him a chance.
You think so?
Let's give the kid a chance.
Okay, if you say so. I mean,
All right.
I know you've developed a little bit of a rapport with him over the past few days.
Yeah, begrudgingly. You've made me make all the phone calls.
I just refuse to talk to him. All right, be back.
All right.
But no, honestly, we're not gonna try to like fuck with him too much right off the bat or anything like that. If he's cool, we'll be cool. We're honestly gonna give him a chance, just so people can't say, this community can't look at us and go, hey, you're not even, you're not open to this, you're not, whatever, blah blah blah. No, we'll talk to a bunch of these people, and then we're gonna talk to people on the other side. I've got a few emails from people who emailed us about their experiences being harassed by people claiming that they're targeted individuals and calling them gang stalkers. They didn't know what this was until they began being harassed by people in their communities, and we're going to talk to that side too. So we'll be back.
Oh my god.
Alex, we're back.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking to our pal Steve Lilly, who contacted us on one of our previous gang stalking videos where we were kind of just making fun of the whole thing. And he said, hey, why don't you have me on and I'll try to explain a bunch of this stuff. We said, sure, why not? And Steve would call himself a targeted individual. If you're not familiar with that term, these are people who will claim that they're the victim of a massive harassment campaign perpetrated by, some people think, the government, some people think other clandestine groups, or there's all kinds of theories, but they would claim to be they would claim to be the victim of harassment, slander, stalking, voice-to-skull technology, and strange psychological, psychotronic, and energy weapons, a whole range of different things. So I'm not sure where we're going to go with Steve, but Steve, thanks for coming on the show and talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate you coming on.
So in your case, if you had to give somebody a general 10-second description of what you're talking about here, what do you think you would say?
They're trying to discredit people that they know would be a problem to the agendas of the powers that be. They're trying to silence them. And they do that by, a whole series of things that just really destroy your life until you're homeless on the streets and you got nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, to say, I have seen videos of a girl who started out really pretty, good-looking girl. This was happening to her, and you follow her timeline. 2 years later, she's homeless on the street with a shaved head, looked terrible. It was kind of disturbing. So yeah, there are people that become homeless because of whatever's going on.
Well, okay, but devil's advocate, if they are indeed an insane person, then they might also go homeless because of that, while simultaneously claim something outlandish is going on. You know what I mean? Because here's been my problem. I'll just be like, so we can kind of get some of where we disagree or whatever. We can get this out of the way. My problem has been from the start that it seems like such a classic, cliche schizophrenic type of behavior to become paranoid about everyone around. You know what I mean? Like, this is why I think it's easily, like, most people would look at it and go, these people
you're not calling him schizophrenic though, so don't phrase it like that.
Shut the fuck up.
No, it's true. It is true. The program mimics mental illnesses. Even though the person may not be mentally ill, the things that are being done to the person when they describe it, it all points in the direction of being mentally ill, paranoid, schizophrenic, or crazy, or whatever.
Right.
But
so it would be hard. Sorry,
I
was just saying it would. So let's just assume for a moment that some of these people, or you, or whoever, are actually experiencing these things, and we haven't even really described what they are yet. But it would be hard to distinguish from someone who was suffering from like a paranoid schizophrenic disorder or something.
Yeah, it is. It's very hard to distinguish it. That's why I pretty much put my name out there, because I did the research, I put in the time, plus I had the experience of going through it, and I wanted to create awareness to what's really going on, because these people have no help. They don't have all the resources or just the capability to even find out what's happening to them.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what you're seeing happen with all these YouTube videos. It seems like there's a community forming, or am I right? Like, is there any kind of community where people can talk about this stuff?
Yeah. It's on Facebook. They have targeted individual groups and shit like that.
I just liked that page yesterday so I could keep an eye on you bastards. I'm just kidding. Listen, so let's do this. Let's describe, like, can you describe what you would say you've experienced, especially things that maybe are, more like kind of tangible and easy to understand, and things like that. Like, what are you describing here when you describe gangstalking in your case?
Well, okay, they use a technique called gaslighting, and gaslighting it's just to manipulate someone into questioning their own sanity. It really just confuses, that makes you think that you're going crazy, even though you know that you're not.
Sure.
Because of the things that they're doing around you, are not coincidences, because the same events keep happening over and over and over and over. Where
like what?
Like, okay, for example, if you were walking down the street, and I made a video of this, every time you got to the corner of the street, a UPS truck and a FedEx truck, for example, would show up right at the corner at the same time you get there.
One or the other, or they'd both be there?
Both. They work on patterns. They use patterns and colors and images. But if I was to walk the next 10 blocks, and every single time I get to the corner, right at the same time, a UPS truck and a FedEx truck show up, you're starting to wonder, is that real? Is that set up? Is that just a coincidence? And then they take it even a step further. They'll throw in like a helicopter that right when you get to the corner flies over your head too. And they do that with several different things where that is no coincidence. That is something that is set up. You don't know how it's done. You don't know why it's being done, but someone is orchestrating that. Something is orchestrating that.
Okay. All right. So what would the purpose of this be, though? You know what I mean? And like, why, if they're trying to drive someone nuts, why do something so kind of innocuous and not really, like, why?
With privately owned companies too, so it's not.
Well, yeah, that brings up the other question that I have next. But yeah,
okay. Sorry.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, what would you think, or what would you interpret the purpose of that to be?
It's to break down the mind of a target, so that way they lose self-esteem, self-confidence, they lose touch with reality, and when they go out to reach out for help, let's say, from like starting with your family, what you're explaining to them sounds so absurd and so crazy that it puts a rift between you and your family and starts drawing you apart from your family. So then,
Okay, now that's another thing. Sorry, Alex. That's another thing that I've noticed is a pretty common thread where it's people go, yeah, they recruited my family and my son became a gang stalker and this. And look, with a lot of those people, I see very clearly it's just a descent into a spiral of you have to agree some of these people out there are just plain nuts, right?
yes, absolutely. And somehow people like want to be a TI or something.
Exactly. Oh, thank you. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay.
So there are people. Sorry.
Let him go. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was just gonna say there are people on here that maybe they're not embellishing, but maybe they're wanting to believe something is true, so they're more important.
And imagine if you're a very lonely, paranoid person, there could be very few ideas more attractive than gang stalking. You know what I mean? And a lot of people would surely want to imagine that it was happening to them if it wasn't.
Because you certainly don't seem like most of these people that are very isolated from their family and like going nuts. I mean, because I've talked to you the past few days. You go out, you go out of the house, you leave the house. Actually,
that's
a
unique.
lot of these people don't.
Yeah.
The whole program is based on fear.
Right. I was gonna ask you, what's your experience been coming out to your family with this stuff?
Well, they didn't believe me for the long. I'm like, they went from completely not believing me to, okay, they're skeptics now, but they still don't really believe it. But with all the information I've talked to them and showed them and everything, they can't say if it is or is not possible, but they choose to, continue to not believe it.
So do they think you're crazy?
They did, but after, like I said, repetitious stories and evidence that I got and everything, they know that I'm not crazy. It's just.
Well, so it sounds like you've presented them with a lot of probably MK Ultra, the fact that the government has worked on energy weapons and used them, all that stuff is real. But
right.
Have you presented them with evidence of it happening to you, and then them being like, okay, that's weird?
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean by I've showed them my videos that I made. I mean, I got archives of videos. I just
did we say the name of the channel, Gangstalking Phenomenon, on YouTube? You can check out Steve's videos if you'd like. Go over there and see what he's talking about.
2 words or 1 word?
It's 3 words.
It's
sorry.
And another thing, on top of having these phony TIs, then you got the disinformation TIs that are going out there acting crazy to muddy up the waters. So it just makes everybody look crazy.
Double agents, kind of?
They're being paid to act like this is really going on and sounding really crazy. So it muddies the waters of being able to tell who's legit and who's not, and that's the government's way of making sure that they don't get caught doing this, because they discredit everybody. They have, it's called COINTELPRO, counterintelligence programs.
Right.
Started back in the 1950s.
Yeah.
And
we know COINTELPRO.
COINTELPRO stuff. In my understanding, a lot of that was developed during Vietnam and used as a tactic against protesters and heads of counterculture groups and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of evidence of it, and definitely evidence that the techniques were developed. And we never disputed that, Scientology does this kind of stuff where they try to drive somebody nuts and they do weird shit and follow them around and all this kind of stuff. And it does, and these techniques are out there. We were just so blown away by how many of these videos just made no sense to us. But honestly, now that you said you agree that a lot of these people are phony, that changes the whole ball game. You're the first person in this entire community that's admitted that. Don't you think, Alex?
Yeah,
I totally agree. I'm sorry, I was kind of lost for words before, because you're the first person who's rational about this.
Well, I honestly believe that I'm probably the only guy, and I won't say I made it out of the program, but I got myself far enough down the road in the program where they don't fuck with me anymore because they know my power over it. They know what I know. They know if they keep messing with me, they're gonna get caught up because I got the balls to start confronting people on camera, getting them to admit shit. I mean,
Like what? What would they admit?
Yeah, like I've caught several of these guys spying on me, and then I snuck away from where they were spying on me from, and then just rolled up right up on them and started questioning them, and they get thrown off guard. They don't know what to say or how to act, and usually they'll just blurt out the truth.
So I mean, but if you had if they weren't following you and they were just randomly sitting there, they would also act like they had no idea what was going on because they really would have no idea what was going on.
Put yourself in their shoes, I guess is what Vinny's saying.
Some do, but some don't because they're so caught off guard that they slip, and a piece of information comes out letting me know that yep, they are watching me, and they just got caught.
I kind of wanted to ask about the funding for this. Vinny, did you have any other questions before I ask about that?
Well, I was actually, I kind of forgot I was going to go there before. So now when you start talking about, this is where I'm honestly still very skeptical, and, just so you know, if you don't convince me of anything, that doesn't mean that, that we can't be friends. I'm starting to like you already, which is, I didn't expect, to be honest, but, I'm like, what makes me really skeptical about this?
Vinny doesn't like many people.
Yeah, what makes me really skeptical about this whole thing from the beginning is like, the amount of money it would take to employ all these vehicles, people. You're talking about helicopters, airplanes, things like that. Crazy. Yeah, well, right.
I mean, they'd have to be spending millions of dollars on just one fucking person. And why in the world or how in the world are they getting that money for all these resources for this one person?
What's your theory?
Well, $2.3 trillion went unaccounted for that the government cannot find out where the hell it went.
9/11.
And a lot of this money gets funneled to these, actually it's they spend $80 billion a year on these black ops program.
Right, but we have no way of knowing exactly what programs that money went to. Like everybody always knew that when that was 9/11 when the 2.3 went missing, 2.3 trillion went missing from the Pentagon day before or something, and then 9/11 happened and whatever. I always assumed that it was disappeared into black ops, but we have no idea exactly what, right?
Right.
You
can't really know. You don't really know. But I know gangstalking has to be one of them because of the amount of targets. I know a lot of legit targets, and the fact that they have all the same shit going on too just tells me how much money they got to spend and resources they really have on tracking these people.
Okay, so
okay, go
sorry,
ahead.
I feel like if I was just listening to this and I hadn't explored this topic at all, I would still have no idea what makes you a target or what is.
Well, there's a lot here. There's a lot of reasons you can become a target.
No, I'm sorry. Before we get into that, I just mean what exactly is being done to you? Because a lot of people would listen to this and go, "What the fuck is he talking? Some FedEx trucks? What is this guy worried about?"
Okay, so like, I'll just tell you like my experience when it first started for me. I was in Venice Beach. It was like in the morning, and all of a sudden, this helicopter, first time ever, started circling around me. And I was like, "What the fuck? That's kind of weird." And I started walking down the boardwalk, and this helicopter just followed me all the way down the boardwalk. And I was in Venice Beach, and Venice Beach is right next to Santa Monica. Mm-hmm. It's about maybe a mile down the boardwalk to walk from Venice to Santa Monica.
Okay.
And then this helicopter followed me the entire way from Venice to Santa Monica. And then when I got to Santa Monica, 2 helicopters started circling around me. And immediately,
were you running or walking?
I was walking.
How was it keep? That's a slow ass helicopter.
Yeah, that's how I knew that thing was following me, because I was walking, and people could see that helicopter was following me, because I would stop too along the way, and it started getting people started following me all the way down there, also, which was weird. And then it started getting even weirder. I'd be walking down the street, and all of a sudden black Suburbans everywhere would start coming out on me.
That's weird. They usually live in the city.
What's that?
Nothing. I said that's weird. That's weird. They usually live in the city. Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it wasn't just, I went to different locations, different areas, different parts of town, and they still would start showing up around me all the time. And then they started, it's called sensitization.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that is?
You were talking about it the other day a little bit, but just explain it for everybody from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, well, basically, before you get under overt surveillance, they put you under covert surveillance. So for a length of time, whether it was months, years, whatever, I don't really know, I've been under surveillance, and then one day they decide to go overt on you. The way they go overt on you and making it so you know that you're being watched is they had to first sensitize the target to certain colors, certain vehicles, certain aircrafts, certain images. And they do that by putting these images, these colors, these vehicles in your line of sight throughout the day, every day, over and over and over, so it ingrains it in your head. So when you do walk down the street and you start seeing these colors, these vehicles or whatnot, automatically it makes you assume that they're there for you.
Okay. So then you end up with a scenario where they've just put the idea in your head, and maybe a lot of times it's not even actually happening, but you just assume that it is.
Well, no. It's actually happening. It is actually happening. But obviously, every FedEx truck, every UPS truck, it can't be in on it because.
Well, that's that's what I meant. Yeah.
Packages.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I probably worded that wrong, but I think I know what you mean. Where it's like, so they make you believe every red car is looking at you, so that you think it even.
But let's say,
they do it a couple times, and then it's already in your head.
Yeah, this is how they do it. They don't just put a red car in front of you. They'll put a red car, and every time you see a red car, a blue car is right behind it too. So you're like, what the fuck? Why is that every time I see a red car, it's followed by a blue car? So they like to use patterns. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, in theory it does. And, I just haven't seen... I've seen videos of people saying this. I haven't seen videos of people showing it. Like, most of the videos I see they look totally random, and they look like normal city traffic to me.
I've heard a lot of these videos, like where people they'll say different colors, like red and white, or
and then
black and white.
Everybody's program is unique to them, but there's a common thread, and there's the same tactics are used. So it doesn't matter really what the colors are, because every person could be sensitized to different colors, but the technique in which they're doing it's still the same.
Well, this is something I just.
But what would that do? See, this is my problem too. I feel like if this was happening to me, it would do absolutely nothing. I would not care at all. I would just go.
Well, and I disagree with you there, because if it happens to you, for me, I was so blown away at how they could do this, and it took me like a year of it happening to me every single day. I'm talking about every single day, to where sorry, I lost my train of thought. To where I just knew that this was something big is going on, something much bigger than what I know is happening to me. It's so difficult to describe a lot of it too, because a lot of it is spiritual. I don't know if you guys have heard that side
Well, that's what I was going to ask you is like, do you think it's more spiritual or physical realm, just government stuff or a corporation?
I think it's a combination of both.
You know,
Okay.
yeah, and I was telling you the other day too. You know, I've had moments where I've thought I've noticed like weird patterns, or I would imagine something and it would happen. You know,
Yeah,
and
sure.
things like that, and I would more chalk it up to like some sort of glitch in the matrix or some sort of metaphysical thing. You know, because I tend to believe that none of this is real. And we might just be a computer program, or maybe the whole computer program is me, and you guys aren't even fucking real at all. I'm just making this whole thing up. I don't know.
Well,
but I would have a harder time. I'm sorry. I would have a harder time attributing it to things that take as much earthly resource as you're talking about. You know, like with these massive amounts of people and vehicles and stuff. I know I'm trying to make myself sound more sane by saying we live in a computer program.
I wanted to say something on that. I've come to the conclusion that the reason all these things are showing up all at weird times and being followed by all these people is because they're putting pressure on me to keep my mouth shut about it, because we are in a simulation and we broke the code of the matrix.
So, okay.
We broke through it. So we are in some sort of supercomputer AI simulation, and we're awake to it, where most of the world is just so caught up in their day-to-day, drop the kids off, go to school, wake up, go to work, do it all over again, that They don't even have the time to see what's really going on in their environment.
So in that scenario, the money and gang stalking employees would not be an issue. They're just written into the program.
Yeah, like they...
money doesn't exist. It's just
they don't
written into the program.
They don't have to pay everyone either. They have it starts up like from the military, and then it goes down the chain of command from the military all the way down to Neighborhood Watch.
Okay.
And they have...
Sorry, go ahead. I just said a lot of things are popping up in my head. Go ahead.
Okay. They have Neighborhood Watch meetings where people from the town hear about people like myself, and they're all lies. So that's how they get them to keep an eye on myself, because they told them something bad about me, and they actually think they're doing a good deed by being part of this Neighborhood Watch. And most of them don't get paid. They do it just to be, because they think they're being a good citizen. And then some of the ones that are getting paid, they're getting paid in like $100 gift cards.
You're talking about like InfraGard kind of people.
Yeah.
I always wonder why TIs don't talk about InfraGard, by the way, because that's like the real citizen Stasi spy network that actually exists on paper. You can go to their website,
Right.
So I would think you guys would talk about that more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I never really got too much into that, but
Well, it ties in. Something I just found interesting is that everyone that talks about this on YouTube uses the exact same terminology.
Well, because that's also though real or not, whatever if you're listening and I'm sure there's people on both sides of it, like there probably are on this show, but real or not or whatever, that's how it naturally would develop, because people wouldn't all use 20 different terms for the same, it would just solidify over time naturally.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
And I think it's important that when anyone's describing these situations or scenarios, that they use the right term, because then everybody just gets confused,
So, okay, now, why is gang stalking such a broad term? Because, okay, I understand the idea that people are saying I'm being followed or fucked with or conditioned or blah, blah, blah by people out, but then it seems to extend to, like, this vast array of strange technologies, that are developed by these weird corporations in secret with government contracts and stuff. Now, I know about a lot of that stuff. This is the thing. A lot of people just assumed that we thought all of this was nuts. And no, voice to skull technology is real.
Yeah.
100% real. They've been.
Let me just say something on that real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but they have, I think, a billboard in Las Vegas, and if you stand in a certain spot, the billboard talks to you in your head, but only when you stand in one spot, and they're using that technology as advertising for something.
So they're somehow projecting really concentrated sound waves, like
it's a frequency that they're projecting to your head, and that frequency matches up with some other frequency in your brain, and that's how you can hear what the billboard's saying or whatever the V2K.
Well, yeah, I mean, even 10 years ago, I was hearing of technology to aim sounds directly at one person and to basically make them think they're going nuts. I know this stuff is out there, you know. I honestly, I really don't know what to think with a lot of this stuff. I know, you know, a lot of it that I don't believe, you know, but I just don't know where to exactly weigh in yet. So
I mean, honestly, we wanted you to either convince us or
just be completely fucking nuts, and then, you know, like. But
you're not nuts. You're totally intact. Like, there's no flaws in what you're saying. Everything's true.
Well,
we agree. But I'm talking like the programs and stuff. All that's true. Like, we agree on all that stuff. So.
Well, here's what. Do you want to hear what I believe this whole big thing is really for? It's new world order, complete, you know, domination of the whole world, taken over by the very few elite at the top, and they're doing this all with mind control.
Well, okay,
and the targets are the hardest to mind control. So we go through the ringer and go through all these weird experiences because, and at the same time, the legitimate targets have the influence, the ability, the talents, abilities, and spiritual gifts to influence and change the world. And they don't want the target to become aware that they have these gifts and stuff, because then to the powers that be, we become a threat. And then the way I think a lot of these people have been targeted since birth. This is just my theory, but I can't prove it. But if you look at astrology basically gives you a very detailed insight to a person, gifts, talents, and whatnot, solely based off the time and date in which you were born. So
I find it to be a bit vague sometimes, though, like a fortune cookie.
Well, if you get an astrology report where you use the time, date, and the very exact time that you were born too, like 11:35 p.m. a.m. That makes all the difference than just giving your birth date. And
my problem with it was always like, they'll give you these scenarios that it's like, yeah, I want to believe that about myself. Yes, okay, yes,
right,
let's do that.
Yeah, right. Like, I always wanted to think I was Jesus, what was it, an indigo child or something? Yeah, no, it would be appealing, you know, to a certain cross section of
creative and good with people, and it's like, yeah, I'd love to believe all that. Yes, so that's why I kind of have a problem with astrology.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I understand where you're coming from. Well, let me just finish my point.
Okay.
Here.
Sorry to cut you off.
With the astrology, they've been tracking people for centuries, so they know what. Like, my birthday was August 17th, 1984, approximately 11:35 p.m.
Wait, you said 1984?
1984, yeah. If you look back, what's that?
If I had a sound effect, I would have played it. Sorry, keep going.
If you look back at the people that were born under that time, that birthday, that time, and that, and my sign, which is the Leo, it shows what the people did 100 years before that, 100 years before that, 100 years before that, and there's a track record of it. And a lot of them are like religious leaders, artists, creators, innovators, people that have influence over other people, are able to influence other people. So basically, they already know when the powerful people are going to be born, because they have a track record of it that dates back centuries. So at some point along like my life, they decide to put me in the program, and now because I'm becoming aware of this stuff, now they need to make sure that I don't fully become aware and wake up to it, because then I will be much more powerful really than they are.
Okay.
Well, if it's based, so everyone that's a Leo is a TI, or
not everyone. No. I'm just saying me, for example.
Okay.
There's powerful people born under all different kinds of signs and birth dates and whatnot, but that's one big reason they target people. Another one may be like, let's just say you're a religious leader of a church, and you are completely, a good tax-paying citizen, never any problems with the law or anything like that. You're just good for the community, but maybe somebody in your church who's got a record that has a past history of doing shady things or whatnot goes to your church. If they know that the religious leader and that dude that I just described to you talk to each other, they will all of a sudden put the religious leader on a blacklist and make him a target, because they don't really know what's being discussed or what has been discussed between that person, the religious leader, and the guy.
Okay, here let's I want to change directions for a second. Where are you finding evidence, like tangible, verifiable evidence that this program exists?
What would be, like, I don't have. I have some documents, but I put them out on the internet, but everyone's just gonna say, "Oh, those are doctored up, whatever."
Well, see, because the only stuff I can find is from websites devoted to this topic, and there's never anything sourced,
Yeah, the best evidence, in my opinion, is to actually catch them on camera, get video and audio evidence. And
but you see how that's like hard to do, because they're not really doing anything.
That's the problem.
It's
There's
extremely
nothing
hard to
going
do
on.
because when you start filming, like myself,
Sorry, you're cutting out for a second. What was the last thing you said?
They know what I'm thinking. They know that I'm going out trying to get them caught on camera. So they know when I start filming and stuff, they hide. So I have to be sneaky about it also, because I'm under their mind reading technology.
It's got to be stressful.
Like, do you know what it's called? Remote neural monitoring.
I've heard it.
Sure, and I can infer the meaning. Go ahead.
It's a technology that they have it coordinates with a satellite, this remote neural monitoring device, and these supercomputers that are being run at the NSA using artificial intelligence. And how it works is everything is like energy and vibrations and frequencies. So when you produce a thought in your head that emits a vibration, it's called an EMF wave. That vibration gets picked up by this remote neural monitoring device. And you have a satellite that's reading your signature. Everyone has their own signature, so it can follow you everywhere you go. So they get that data point from reading your mind. Let's just say they like to work on your fears and control a person using their fears. So what they do is they read your mind, and they get a whole track record and data points of your mind, of how you react under certain situations, to where they can literally convert your brainwave pattern into plain English. So they already know, like, if you're hungry or if you're thirsty, or if you're gonna like a right turn. They know that because they've been tracking your brainwave pattern.
And you think the technology is that refined by now to literally?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I mean, Edward Snowden already came out and said they're doing this.
What he talked?
I've seen a lot of TIs quote Edward Snowden, but what did he say?
He talked about this specifically.
He talked about it over Dateline. NBC did a little short piece with him, and he talked about it there was just like a 1.5 or 2 minute segment that he brought it up. This was years ago when he did that.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happens is once they get your brainwave pattern, right? They already know how your brain works, and they take that entire pattern now and they put it in their supercomputer and use artificial intelligence, which now predicts what your brain will do before you even know what you're going to do. So that's how they know where you're going to be at all times ahead of time before I even know I'm going to be there. So
Here,
they're always
can I do this?
that?
Oops, sorry. Can I
type in Edward Snowden gangstalking on YouTube? It's a one-minute video.
Oh my God, Alex, you're ruining everything. I was just about to say, here, I can play this clip of Edward Snowden right now if you guys want.
Go ahead.
Here, let's see what he says.
We can do this.
Wow, this is somebody else's little tag on here. Hold on.
I think that was it. That's the interview, though.
Type in Edward Snowden talks about gangstalking.
Hold on.
Watch people's internet communications.
I don't know why they
Watch
put these
them
drums in here.
Draft correspondence and actually watch their thoughts form as they type. Watch their thoughts form as they type. As you write a message, an analyst at the NSA or any other service out there that's using this kind of attack against people, any other service out there that's using this kind of attack against people.
We get it, right?
But what he's talking about is not what you're talking about.
Yeah, it sounded like
what
more
he's talking about is that you could be typing something and then you delete it, but they already know that you've typed. They already know what you're trying to say. They're following your keystrokes. That's all he was talking about was computers. That's what I heard.
I haven't heard it in a while, but I understood it differently. But at the same time, I don't even know this program. These techniques are so secretive that I wouldn't even be surprised if Edward Snowden doesn't even know that, know what I'm talking about.
Oh, if anybody does, he does.
Yeah, I would think he would.
Right. I would think so too. But somehow the reason we all targets know about this is because all these whistleblowers started coming out from different places and whatnot. And then with the internet, we're all connected. We all started sharing this information. I mean, this is information that you can get off the NSA. I think it's the NSA website. Or you type in remote neural monitoring. It all refers to the NSA. I mean, they're monitoring everything. I'm talking about everything.
Well, yeah. I mean, we studied the whole Vault 7 leaks and we Edward Snowden a couple years ago and all this stuff. Like there's definitely a lot of creepy stuff going on. I'm just trying to figure out where in my own mind.
Here's how I know that they're doing this. I didn't know it was called remote neural monitoring. I didn't have a clue what it was called. But what kept happening to me, and I think you mentioned this earlier, was I'd be thinking of something, and then right after I thought about it, it would appear in my physical reality, like minutes or 30 right after, and there's a feeling too that I get when they're trying to like tap into my head, whatever devices they're using. It puts a pressure on the inside of my head. I can feel pressure, and then there's another feeling of them almost like extracting my thoughts out of my head. I can feel it. It's so weird.
So when people say, because to a lot of people, stuff like this, it just sounds like so. Like I said earlier, like it's like a crazy person in a movie. It's the kind of shit. Do you think they've been planting that in movies and TV for a long time just to discredit this idea? Because I know they do that with a lot of stuff. Obviously, yeah.
I mean, they're just Hollywood is doing a lot. I don't know if it's they're putting it out there to discredit people, but I think they're put Hollywood and all these TV shows and movies and whatever, they put the secrets out there because they know that's the only way to really get the truth out without getting killed or disappearing off the face of the planet. So they do it through those avenues. Whereas for me, I reached a point where I didn't care if they were going to kill me or not, and I was going to keep speaking out about it. So if you're going to kill me, then kill me. And I passed through that threshold where they never killed me. So it became really empowering at that point. And the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, they knew that I pretty much had them by the balls, because I've already told enough people about what's going on, where if I did die or I did disappear, then this whole thing would blow up. Like, they wouldn't be able to keep a lid on it anymore.
You know, I gotta say, I agree with you on a lot of general points. I don't know what to think about gangstalking, probably because I haven't separated a lot of the concepts. You know, I've observed it as a blur of a lot of stuff that made no sense. You know, and as you've acknowledged, you know, a lot of these people are clearly insane, and it's hard to tell what the fuck is going on as an outside observer who just kind of stumbles across this. So now I'm really not sure what to think, and I want to dig in and see if we can find any tangible evidence that this program is being run by the government, or that, you know what I mean, if there's a paper trail, if there's we supposedly have a guy. We're supposed to talk to another guy who's an ex-naval intelligence officer who said that he had knowledge of this program when he was still in the military. Again, who knows, whatever, we'll have to talk to him and see what we can find out. But, you know, yeah, I'm not sure. Just to be honest with you, I'm really not sure at this point, but I'm glad we did this and we gave it a shot, you know?
Yeah.
And no offense to you, because
no.
You know, like I said, even if I did, like, even if we talked to you a few more times and I think you're totally nuts, that doesn't mean I don't like you and I wouldn't hang out with you, you know? So,
yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, like, that's what I was trying to explain to a lot of people. I'm like, you know, I would hang out with you and listen to this, and you know, even if I couldn't wrap my head around it, or I just thought it was completely nuts, you know, people were immediately going to, like, you guys are perps, you guys are shills, you guys are. It's like, dude, come on, you know, we don't have to be enemies just because we don't understand each other yet,
right?
You know.
You know, you were saying, I think you mentioned you wanted to see, like, evidence that this is going on. I don't know what videos of mine that you've seen, but that one video that you guys did use, are you there?
Yeah. Is that? I think Alex might have dropped out, actually. But go ahead. Yeah. So just so everybody knows, we included Steve, and that's why Steve was actually pretty gracious to hit us up and come on and actually kind of make friends with us, because we were just making a video, just like making fun of everyone, and we used one of Steve's videos.
It does. It's just the most ludicrous, insane thing that you could possibly imagine that could be real.
Okay.
And it's like when it happens to you, you don't even believe it's like I had such a hard time believing it until it happened to me, and they had to repeat what they were doing to me over and over and over every single day. And they would do things like they would fly. I'm talking, I get a whole bunch of planes.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, you're there. Yeah.
Good.
Like, this is how I know, like, these vehicles and these crafts and aircrafts and stuff were following me. When they were trying to get my attention, they switched from these little single engine Cessna white planes that would fly directly over my head to full on airliners, and they would follow me everywhere I went. I'm talking about different cities all around Southern California.
Yeah, but don't you think there's just a lot of, like, I go outside, I see planes, and you know, I live in New Orleans, and there's military bases all over the Gulf and stuff, so I'll see helicopters and planes every day.
Right. When we first got into this, I was living by the beach, and it was like in between two military bases. So helicopters would fly right over our house all the time, and I'm like, wait, am I being targeted? Which kind of brings me to the question I really wanted to ask.
You will know. When they're ready to make you know that they're there, you will know it. They make sure you do. And, like, so this is how I knew, like, these planes, like, obviously there's planes flying all over the place, all over the world, all the time. How can I stare at a plane and say that plane is just flying over my head just for me? Well, what they did in the beginning was every time the plane would reach my location above my head, it would all of a sudden change course, the direction in which it was going. It would turn. And so every time a plane flew over my head, and they would fly these planes over my head every few minutes, even if wherever I was walking around in the city, once it reached my head, it would make a huge right turn and start going another way. So I'm like, what the fuck? Why are these planes changing their direction always when they get to my location? And then another thing they would do, like with the fire trucks, is I'd start hearing the sirens go off, and then as the sirens got closer to me and reached my location, all of a sudden the sirens would shut off and they would park around me. Or if I was like walking around and these fire trucks started coming, they would turn their sirens on right when they hit me and park around me.
Okay, but so how do you propose there's multiple fire trucks and what you have to assume are firemen? How is this actually going down? I mean, are they? And
you're the one guy in LA because they can't have that many fake fire trucks,
right?
I mean, they have to have real fire trucks too.
Yeah, they're all it's all real. It's all real, but
the firemen are in.
It's all street theater. It's all street theater. It's all.
Yeah, but you would have to think the entire fire department was in on it.
The entire fire department is in on it. So is all law enforcement.
The whole.
And I've talked to so many cops and everything about it off camera, and they've admitted it to me, and they're afraid to talk about it. Like I've confronted them.
Have you tried hidden camera? Get them to admit it?
No, I haven't done that, but because all I have is my phone, my iPhone to film.
Yeah, I mean, even some audio I would buy, and as you're walking away, show it to cop. I would buy that.
Yeah.
You should try it.
The entire don't you think that? Yeah. I mean, what?
The entire fire department.
Don't you think that somebody would be speaking out? Because I haven't seen any whistleblowers from the inside.
What do you mean, from the fire department?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you had big city fire departments, there's got to be a couple thousand firemen in LA. I would think. Is that where you are, LA?
Yeah. Here's what I do think. The fire department's in on it, but they're in on it for not the reason that they think. They've been lied to also.
All right, so they get a call.
Oh, okay.
So they're tracking you. They get a call. They park at the court.
When they show up around me, they don't know who the fuck I am or anything about me, or that they're even doing that to me. But they get a call to show up at my location from whoever, wherever, and that's how they do it. You get what I'm saying?
And they show up and they think it's a false alarm?
No, I don't know.
You think they're being just tricked, or
I don't know what they're. All I know is they're being told something to show up there. What they're being told, I don't know. But the cops know for sure.
How often does this happen? Every day?
It was happening every single day for almost 3 years. And
the same things or different things that you attributed to be gangstalking?
They switched it so many things up on me. They started using UPS, FedEx, Postal Service trucks. Then they started following me with Department of Water and Power. Then some days there would be no FedEx, no UPS, no Department of Water and Power, and then it's all black Suburbans following me. And I'm talking about I'd be walking down the street. At every street corner I turn, there'd be black Suburbans just parked, posted up, they're just waiting for me.
Black Suburbans in LA, that's not. I mean, I'm not from there, but that's not too uncommon, is it? A lot of people drive those.
Sure, they do. What I noticed, the ones that were stalking me, all have some sort of serial number on the bumper, and they're usually Uber or Lyft. Black Suburbans, and Uber and Lyft are in on it too. They're tracking people through their whatever technology. They're all working together. And
that's an angle I haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
When I was in jail, I spoke to this guy who was in jail also with me, and he was an Uber driver. And I asked him, I said, "Hey, is Uber in on it with the surveillance and spying of U.S. citizens?" And he said, That's funny that you say that, because part of my job most of the during the day was to pick up these NSA agents, and they would just drive me around to different locations, and I'd drop them off. And what they were doing, what the NSA agents were doing, I don't know, but all I know was Uber was picking up these agents.
Okay. What did they pick you up for? Was it like gangstalking related incident, or what happened?
Well, there's a lot of things that happened. Like, the last thing that happened was I stole a fucking Mercedes Benz from a Mercedes dealership.
No shit. Really?
Yeah. Well,
dude, I was gonna say this earlier, and now I have to say it. You're a badass.
Well, this is like,
continue.
I was living. I had a penthouse spot in Long Beach, like right across from the ocean, with shit that I've collected from all over the world. I've been in 19 different countries. I've lived in 3, to the point where, like, in a matter of months, I ended up homeless on the street because of all this gang stalking and getting jacked by these people and whatever. But so I was homeless, and I was so tired of walking all the time, and I knew that I was being followed by Freemasons, and this had to be Illuminati was part of it and whatever. So since I knew that they're listening in on everything I say all the time, I just kind of spoke into the mic in my phone, and I was like, look, I'm tired of walking. I'm gonna go into this dealership and take a car. So whatever you guys have to do to line me up with a vehicle, just make it happen. And I walked into the Mercedes dealership, and there was nobody there. They cleared everybody out of the dealership, and in the driveway there was just a black Mercedes with the keys sitting on the counter, and nobody was there. So I just grabbed the keys and hit the clicker, and it was the car right there in front of me, and I just drove it out, and they never even knew that I stole the car. And
eventually they must have found out.
Yeah,
Well,
what happened later at Target, this is when I was first becoming, like,
were you in another so you were in America then?
Yeah, I was in California. I hadn't started filming all this stuff yet. Like, it didn't even cross my mind to film it. And
so you're at Target, stolen Mercedes.
Stolen Mercedes, and then I went to go steal a little video camera, so like a dash camera. And
so you could film
in your stolen car.
yeah, I was gonna start filming these guys, and I got caught by the fucking theft prevention dudes, and then the cops came and they saw I had a Mercedes, and I was trying to steal this camera and whatever. So I did 6 months in LA County Jail for it.
Okay. I like that you weren't trying to, like, hide or sell the car. You're like, this thing needs a dash cam.
Dude, I drove it home and, like, washed it like it was my brand new car right afterwards.
All right. I like that. Here, you know what? We're coming up on, like, almost an hour. I want to do this, okay? I want to cut this where it is right now. Give us a chance to look into some other things and talk. We're gonna have a couple of other guys, like I said, give their perspective, and then we'd be happy to have you on again at some point as we try to evolve on this topic and see where it takes us. So, Steve Lilly, Gangstalking Phenomenon is the YouTube channel, and you guys out there can go check that channel out and see if you agree with Steve that there is some creepy activity going on around him. Thanks a lot for hanging out, dude.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, we'll keep in touch, and good luck and happy trails until next time.
All right, brother.
All right.
Good. All right.
See ya. Overdose Talk Show will be back in a minute. All right, well, that was weird. We're back on the Overdose Talk Show. So yeah, like we talked about with Olga, the first targeted individual that we talked to, it's like you get kind of like, you're kind of disappointed. You're like, why are you so hard not to like? This sucks.
I'm supposed to hate you because you go into it thinking that. But if you didn't talk about gangstalking and you just talked about all the other stuff they know about, these people would be awesome.
Right, like if you just met them and you were hanging out and getting stoned and talking about like virtually almost anything else, you'd think they were like, yeah, you'd want to be friends right away.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I like Steve. Gangstalking,
he's a good guy.
Gangstalking phenomenon on YouTube. I mean, honestly, my first impression of him was that he was fucking delusional crazy, you know, and I think he understands that. So, whatever, we'll talk to him again. We'll talk to a few other people. We'll see what happens. You know, we kind of got the comedy out of it already, so whatever.
Yeah, we really just wanted to talk to that guy. I mean, we couldn't call him out because he wasn't. I mean, yeah, we don't really see much in his videos, but what he was talking about was totally fine. So,
and it was fun, if nothing else.
It was fun, and wow, that story at the end really threw me for a turn.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, that was the best part.
I'll listen to anybody's story about stealing a car.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Any.
So, anyways, yeah, dude, I've been all stressed out about moving, and I've been walking around a little bit too much on edge. I went out to lunch yesterday with my girlfriend. Went out to a nice fancy place. We come home, park the car. We're about to cross the street back to our apartment, and these kids are like, they're like 12. There's two guys and a girl. They're like 12 or 13 or something. And Darcy is smoking her stupid fucking vape thing, you know?
Yeah,
and like, it makes the worst fucking slurping sound, dude. I hate that fucking thing.
Vapes.
I like don't care, you know. I'm not part of the people that are like, oh, you're vaping, you think you're so cool. I just think the sound of it is fucking annoying when someone's laying next to you in bed. They don't smoke them like a cigarette, where you go smoke a cigarette and then you don't smoke a cigarette for an hour or something.
You're
you know?
good. You got
and
your buzz. It's constant. It lasts like 6 seconds.
They smoke it, and she just sits there. We're like laying in bed watching a movie or something, and just every 4.5 minutes, it's just like, dude, oh my god. Hit that thing for 3 minutes and put it the fuck down. But no, so listen.
Dude,
so we're standing. So we're standing on the street. These kids walk past, and this one kid, he goes, "Hey, you rip fat clouds with your vape," and so I just twirled around and I was like, "Hey, you suck fat cocks with your little faggot mouth, huh? Huh, you little pussy faggot?" And Darcy's like, grabs me like, "Go, stop it. They're kids. They're children." I was like, oh yeah, fuck. I just like immediately you suck fat cocks with your faggot mouth. And you could see they just like put their heads down and started walking swiftly away. They're like, oh shit, we messed with a fucking crazy person.
Dude, sometimes like that, because I work with kids.
Is that over the line?
What?
No.
How old were they?
Like 12 or 13.
Yeah, I mean, it's language they've heard. Would you say it in front of their parents?
Oh no.
You know, I think that's the.
But
I had a similar experience yesterday.
That's the thing, though.
Your story.
I just feel like you need to learn that lesson. Like, you shouldn't be fucking walking around making fun of strangers. How do you know what's gonna happen? You're lucky I didn't turn around and fucking grab you by the throat and throw you in front of a fucking bus. You little 12-year-old twat.
I hate, okay, I started to teach. I used to babysit, and then now I teach kids a lot, like golf. And now I totally understand when you see a parent screaming at a kid. I'm on the parent side now. Like, my perspective has totally changed. Kids are little shits. Most of them. There's some cool ones for sure. But there was this real smarmy kid in the class yesterday, and he just wanted attention, and he kept like interrupting everything. We couldn't get our opening speech done, and he keeps interrupting, and he's shaking around, jumping around. I mean, clearly, like, this dude's hyperactive and he's got some issues. But then later on, I walk by him and he's hitting this ball, and he hits like a perfect perfect swing right into a basketball hoop, and he looks at me. Did you see that? Did you see that? And I saw it, and I looked right at him, and I said, no. And I turned to the girl next to him. I was like, great swing. And he started crying.
Good.
He started crying. He ran to the corner and cried for 15 minutes.
Little fucking asshole.
This kid was a shit. But because he wasn't giving me respect, and I'm not going to play that game. I think they get used to their teachers walking on eggshells. This is after school programs. It's different.
Oh yeah, you really showed him.
I know.
His fucking dad probably burns him with cigarettes and shit. He's probably all fucked up. His mom's just on pills and like sleeping with the neighbor and stuff. Yeah,
his
horrible
mom
life.
did seem a little fucked up. She came early. Oh, we got to bring him to church group. I forgot he's leaving 5 minutes early.
Yeah, church group. We all know what that's code for.
Rape.
Yeah, rape class. How to get raped. They teach you how to get raped quieter. Hey, wait, speaking of rape jokes, Eminem's back in the news. That's good for him, right? He's got
I guess so.
Yeah, he's got an ever dwindling relevance, as any right-wing pundit will tell you. The man who hasn't... I always go to Paul Joseph Watson. Who hasn't been... a man who hasn't been relevant since the 90s. Like, what the hell do you fucking dorks know? Shut up. God damn it.
You weren't even here in the 90s, you stupid little faggot.
I didn't like this verse.
Paul Joseph Watson.
Yeah, I know. He's such dude. They're all just... This is what they are. They're just dorks. They're like... It's like talking to your grandpa. Like, dude, we share some of the same values... And like we're not leftist by any stretch of the fucking imagination, but like we're not gonna sit there and be fucking grandpas about everything. Like that's what the so-called like cool side of the conservative movement right now, with all guys like that and like Steven Crowder, like dude.
I liked him for 2 days. He's a fag.
Yeah, he really is just so awful. Just so kind of stuck up and what do you call it? Dude, I mean,
it's arrogant. I hate that attitude that the right wing arrogant, like religious. I know better than you. Drugs are bad.
Yeah, you like right
super
people.
Welfare idiot.
Oh, did you come up with that while you were smoking blunts? Oh yeah, you guys are like the young cool face of the conservative movement. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
you guys are pretty fucking cool.
No, dude, the only like cool face of the conservative movement, like the only guy I'd have a beer with is Gavin McInnes, because there might be a fun story.
Gavin, I don't have as much of a problem with, but but he, he's fucking 10 years older than me, but.
I'd love to smoke weed with Alex Jones, but then we're getting higher up there.
But it would just be a clinical study, because that's why he does it. He'd be sitting there filling out charts and he'd be dropping some in a test tube and like some little packet of blue liquid and shaking it around and stuff.
Yeah, he's got a notebook that every year he opens it up. Okay,
kill the high.
Last year.
But yeah, so you saw all these like young conservatives come out against Eminem because he did it. Now this is the thing. I did not enjoy this particular Eminem verse. I do love Eminem. I think he's one of the greatest writers of all time. I think you're fucking stupid if you don't admit that. You don't have to say he's the greatest rapper ever. You don't have to like him, but you have to admit you're stupid if you don't admit his fucking talent. The guy is.
But you will respect him.
Yeah, the guy exactly. Put some respect on his name, for God's sakes.
Respect my name, damn it.
And he, but this verse is stupid. I'm surprised by him sort of fully, solidifying his role as like a partisan sheep. He always seemed to, right. He always seemed anti-establishment. He always seemed to sort of understand how the entire establishment works together. He seemed to see past the whole fucking ritual of politics when he was younger. But now, he's like a lot of people that went, oh my God, they took away our black man. Oh, we can't have it go back and forth the way it always does. Oh my God, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, and so we don't have to talk about this later. It's just like with Snoop Dogg. He clearly showed his allegiance with the Democratic Party with that Trump murder, Trump assassination video.
And I think it's clear we're not Republicans, right? But it's like it's just as disgusting that it's like, dude, don't be
I just hate the left more.
It's so low effort. Like, yeah, we'll attack Trump and call him racist and stuff. And as much as I don't like the guy, I still haven't seen the evidence that he's racist. I really haven't. I mean,
yeah,
I've
show
seen,
me,
I've
and
seen,
I will believe it.
Yeah, I've seen like theatrical videos with ominous music and selective edits that sort of made it seem that way when juxtaposed with civil rights footage of people being sprayed by fire hoses and shit. Remember those videos that were coming out? It's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Wait, how big of a trance are people in that, like, they don't see that it's all just quick cuts and that he didn't actually say what they just said he said?
I don't know.
It drives me insane.
And I don't even like him. I'm just saying, you're all fucking just so easily corralled. It's so disappointing, you know? Have some perspective. Rise above the left-right paradigm, like Alex Jones used to tell us, because we worship Alex Jones, and he's definitely not a lizard. We should get into this.
Are you gonna start from the beginning? Because I want to play too. I want to watch it. All right.
Yeah, I'm starting at like 9 seconds because that's where it actually starts. Before that, he's just walking around. He's got like it's kind of weird. He's got like a whole field of dudes behind him. There's like 10 guys. He's the only white guy in sight. That's important, I guess. It is BET, but
it almost looks like he's got this like black, like brotherhood militia behind him, and it's set up in a very
I'm sure
it's
just a bunch of other. It's just a bunch of other rappers, I'm sure, but I'm not sure who these guys are. To be honest,
but the whole time, like I was trying, like they didn't do many close-ups on his face, and I'm just trying to like really read his body language, and it's hard to do because of all their edits. I don't know. Let's just give it a listen.
All right, here we go. Eminem's BET. By the way, everyone calls it a freestyle. I don't know why. It's an a cappella verse. That's what this is. It's a written a cappella verse.
I love how he like. Wait, there's a certain part where I don't know if he fucks up or if he does it on purpose. You might be able to enlighten me on that.
I wonder if we're gonna listen to it. Here we go.
Wait, how was I gonna start this off? I forgot. Oh yeah. That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not, but that's all I got till I come up with a solid.
Well, first of all, they're fucking bleeping the word, or not bleeping, but they're editing out the swears. Like, what? It's so fucking lame.
If you're gonna put it on YouTube, just put I get this was BET originally. Just do the unedited for YouTube.
Second of all, what an awkward start. That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I dump it on Donald Trump? Probably not. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't like that either.
That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Just like, what are you talking about? There's no coffee pot here. Sorry.
It's like he's changed his look a bit too. Like, I don't like his chain.
Yeah.
Why the chain's bugging me so much, but
I don't care. I don't know. He just actually kind of just looks like he's wearing sweatpants and fucking whatever. He almost looks like he has a purposeful blue collar look, like he has to try to look poor, kind of, you know, because he's been rich for so long.
You'll hear that in the end. He's good at sounding poor.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Got a plan and now I got a hatchet like a damn Apache with a tomahawk. I'ma walk inside a mosque on Ramadan and say a prayer that every time.
What? That was a disappointing end to that fucking little volley there. I'm gonna walk into a mosque on Ramadan and what's he gonna do? Say a prayer? What happened to Eminem? What the fuck, dude?
I know. What happened? Dude, the last time I saw him do a freestyle, it was amazing.
It's not a freestyle, stupid. Stop saying this.
Sorry. Last time I saw him do a cipher where he was doing a verse, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
That was you. Yeah. He's a legendary lyricist. I don't care what anybody fucking says. He's put out work. I've always thought that he put out stuff I didn't like, but the vast majority of it is inarguably just creative and awesome, I think.
The same could be said about any good artist, so yeah. I agree.
I don't know, dude. He's a step above the rest. Like, he's the only person that I could think of in modern history that got to the kind of level of pop star fame, like Michael Jackson, and he did it with lyricism. That was his appeal. That was his thing.
And aggressiveness and like.
Well, no, he had the whole fucking
imagery.
thing. Right? No, he had a lot of different things that came together. But he was nothing without lyricism. See, he wasn't like the other pop stars of his level at that time were like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, shit like this. All this like bullshit kind of
Slim Shady LP's amazing.
I mean, for him to make it as huge as he did at that time, surely was not was not predictable or likely at all. You know what I mean? So he did it in a way that, with his raw intelligence, that nobody did. That's what I say. Whatever. I think that, fuck you. I was 14 in the Midwest and white when Eminem came out. So, you know, soft spot. I'll always have a place for Eminem.
Talks. She gets a
Oh, that.
I'ma stop.
That, like, what was that?
I don't
intentional?
know.
But we better give Obama props, cause what we got in office now's a kamikaze that'll probably cause a nuclear holocaust. And while the drama pops and he waits for shit to quiet down, he'll just gas his plane up and fly around till the bombing stops.
Yeah, it's too theatrical. I don't like how he's doing the like battle rap, like over theatrical, like overconfident kind of thing. Like he used to just wind a crazy narrative or you know a group of thoughts together through all this like cohesive rhyming that somehow made sense still. And it was fucking.
Will Smith don't got a cuss in his raps to sell records. Well, I do, so fuck him and fuck you too.
That's not at all what I'm talking about, but. I'm talking about multi-syllable rhymes that would all weave together, and you were like blown away halfway through the thing. You're like, "Holy shit, he's still going," you know. And yeah, this just seems like I don't know. It just seems so fucking lazy.
I know, and it seems like they kind of gave him the message that he needs to put out, and like.
Or he just, you know, people are like everybody is trying to cash in on it. Like, hate the president, dude. You know what? You would have been brave if you were like us. And you criticized Obama all the time because that didn't help you make friends, especially when you're in artistic communities and shit like that. Yeah, and
doing something that makes you more popular in Hollywood and pop culture, it's not brave of you.
Yeah,
you're just a fucking puss.
Dude, you should
attention.
You should see the look people get on their face when I say something like, well, yeah, you know, I first started to hate Obama because of it, and they're like, hate? Well, no, I mean, come on, he was pretty. Dude, you're a fucking idiot. They're all the same. It's the same. Dude. Oh, God. Whatever. Listen, let's just keep listening to Eminem. This isn't even Eminem anymore. What happened?
It's not what happened to Eminem.
Tensions are rising. Trump, when it comes to giving a shit, you're stingy as I am. Except when it comes to having the balls to go against me, you hide them. Because you don't got the nuts like an empty asylum.
That was a good line.
It gets better like 3/4.
And there's a few clever lines in here.
Racism's the only thing he's fantastic for.
That sucks.
Because that's how he gets his rocks off and he's on.
That's that cheesy YouTube battle rap shit. Racism is the only thing he's fantastic for. Like guys always do that in battle rap now. Like, I'm going to break you down with movie titles. While you was sleepless in Seattle, I was blah. It's just like, dude, God, shut up. Some real writing.
Yeah, sick tan. That's why he wants us to disband, because he cannot withstand the fact we're not afraid of Trump. Walking on eggshells, I came to stomp. That's why he keeps screaming, drain the swamp, because he's in quicksand.
Why is he acting like this is brave? The entire media and entertainment community has already been doing this for 2 years. Like, this is not brave, dude.
And he's a bit late on the whole thing. Like,
no, I mean, he was saying he put some lines in that one other acapella thing he did a while back. But yeah, I mean, it's just surprisingly lazy and low effort. Again, though, you know, I mean, whatever. It doesn't last forever. How old is he? 45 something? You know, who knows? I don't know.
It's like we take a step forwards then backwards, but this is his form of distraction. Plus, he gets an enormous reaction
No, it's
when he
awkward.
attacks the NFL, so we focus on that instead of talking Puerto Rico with gun reform for Nevada, all these horrible tragedies, and he's bored and would rather cause a Twitter storm with the Packers.
I could also see.
Just declare.
I could also see how if you didn't know much about hip hop or like rap, and you never watched videos like this or stuff, because this is getting exposure in places that people never watch stuff like this. I could see how if you knew nothing about this, how it would look ridiculous,
Yeah.
and you would go like. You go, what is everybody retarded? This is what you guys watch? Like, no, this is.
But okay, so we know he's anti-Second Amendment. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, all right, we see where we see. Like, I hate, dude. What's been really disappointing within like the last year is how many people I actually enjoy. I realized are just shills to the establishment.
Well, but there's a lot of people that are amazingly intelligent, but for some reason have a giant blind spot with government. I've had a lot of people in my own life that they're really smart about a lot of things. They're fun to talk to. They're funny, whatever. But then they have this one giant blind spot where they can't logically process the idea of like tyranny and government getting bloated and taking over and blah, blah, blah. The stuff we worry about. They just can't.
I think that's the goal of school, and that's how that like creates it. And if they finish throughout, like university,
to make you yearn for structure.
School keeps getting bigger and bigger and harder, and then it's like, okay, yeah, government get bigger, and it's kind of a symbiotic.
You almost had it. Symbiotic.
In a way, the whole thing.
Oh, well.
Relationship.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't know I had to say relationship. Yeah.
Hold on. Well, you wouldn't have. You could have said it's kind of symbiotic, but you said it's kind of asymbiotic, so then you needed a noun at the end.
Oh, great point.
And your mother's a teacher, isn't she? Or wasn't she?
I don't. Can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay.
Then says he wants to lower our taxes. Then who's gonna pay for his extravagant trips back and forth with his fam to his golf resorts and his mansions? Same shit that he tormented Hillary for and he slandered, then does it more. From his endorsement of Bannon, support.
Is he using tax money to fly around?
No, and just, dude, this whole thing about Bannon, you just stopped it where the next line is about like white supremacy.
I backed it up so we could hit it with context.
Okay, because dude, Bannon is never claimed to be a white supremacist.
No, dude, they say it's insane. Like,
it's
okay, nobody.
People
think Gavin McInnes. People think Gavin McInnes is a fucking white supremacist, and they don't know.
He's married to a Native American woman.
Meanwhile, they don't know who Richard Spencer and Jared Taylor are. These guys who are really leading a very successful charge in the field of racial separatism, which is something that we should probably keep an eye on. Just in case. Just in case it's history to repeat itself. Yeah. And
Hate for that to
but they don't know about that, but then they'll share a meme
Not really.
about fucking Gavin McInnes and a bunch of other like YouTubers, like, look at these white supremacists, and it's like it's people that just dude, I bet we would be called white supremacists by somebody just because
there's something
because we're pro Second Amendment, pro freedom of speech, blah blah blah. That you know what I mean. So
freedom of speech makes you racist white supremacist.
Well, no, like honestly, if remember that video, you saw that video. There was a guy at a protest in England who was holding a sign that said, "The right to discuss ideas openly must be protected." That was what his sign said, something like that. And there was a mob of people around him screaming at him, calling him a Nazi, because he was basically saying, stop shutting down people you don't agree with. And they're screaming at him, throwing stuff at him, calling him a Nazi and a white supremacist. So that's all it takes, buddy. That's what I'm saying.
And since we were just talking about Gavin McInnes, I think he coined this term hate facts. And hate facts are just anything that's true, but it's deemed like hate speech if you say it. Like, you can't bring up black crime rates or black on black crime. You can't bring up the incest rate.
Well, honestly, they bring that stuff up.
Islamic countries.
But they bring that stuff up a little bit too much, to be honest. Especially
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody can make a statistical argument to prove a point, but this is the fallacy, or the folly of arguments that are based solely on statistics. Is there's always an alternate explanation or an influence possible, or another way of breaking it down, or another cross section of statistics that puts it in a different light, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we've talked about before. Like, it's a way whatever. I just get sick of them going like, yeah, look at the crime in black communities. Like, it's a little bit more complicated than I get the facts. Yeah.
I can understand the math.
Whatever. I know.
But I also understand that it was kind of by design. So
exactly right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like you never go that extra step and listen to basically, it's funny what a lot of like conspiracy stuff that everybody knows about was only known in black communities 20, 30 years ago, or mostly.
Oh, sure. That was like the black Panthers and shit.
Well, and just the idea that the government is targeting this community to destroy it, and a lot of stuff we know now, and a lot of stuff about AIDS and crack and everything, you know what I mean? This was stuff syphilis. That black communities were privy to. I don't know what my point is even with that, but I forget. I was going to go somewhere with that.
Well, okay, but I'll add to that black communities used to be, like, when they were segregated black communities, they were very prosperous.
Yo, they used to be dope.
They really were.
No, I know. We talked. I'm pretty sure we drunkenly talked about this last show too. This is our drunk form of I'm not racist. Like, look, we really sympathize. Let's go back to this thing.
Shit that he tormented Hillary for and he slandered, then does it more. From his endorsement of banning support for the Klansmen, tiki torches in hand for the soldier that's black and comes home from Iraq and is still told to go back to Africa, fork and a dagger in this racist 94-year-old grandpa who keeps ignoring our past historical deplorable factors. Now if you're a black athlete, you're a spoiled little brat for trying to use your platform or your stature to try to give those a voice who don't have one. He says you're spitting in the face of vets who...
I mean, it's actually that whole part that we just played, he kind of had a better point than the rest of it. Like, the...
Okay, but wait, but when he's talking about Colin Kaepernick, you're a spoiled brat if you're trying... Dude, that guy is a spoiled brat. He was an adopted kid raised in a very wealthy white neighborhood who doesn't know anything about black oppression. And he had this girlfriend who was very into, like, Black Lives Matter. Uh-huh. And she pushed him in. It was his girlfriend that pushed him into the whole thing. Honestly, she should be getting the attention, not him.
Yeah, well, what does he do? Is he a quarterback?
He was. I don't think that he even got signed this year. He wasn't. I hear.
Well, can she do that?
I don't watch football anymore. I stopped years ago.
Yeah.
When I stopped playing, I stopped watching.
No, I know, but also there's a bit of like artistic license too. That's like, he might just be talking about the issue and whatever. Anyways, that wasn't the part of the song that I really despised as much. But
okay.
But the Steve Bannon thing is fucking stupid. These people, nobody even understands. Like Steve, like I was saying, they call anybody a white supremacist or whatever, blah blah blah. Steve Bannon was a guy that made anti-New World Order movies and shit back in the day, and stuff like that. I don't know. For all I know, he might have racial separatist leanings. It wouldn't necessarily surprise me, but I didn't see evidence of it. So.
No, the reason they say it is because he preaches this nationalist movement where we cut off all immigration and we just
see that's not white. That's not white supremacists, dude. White supremacists and racial separatists want everyone fucking away from each other within our society. They want you to have a state and us to have a state. Stopping immigration from an economic perspective or whatever is not. Racist?
Like, I guarantee you the Japanese are a lot more racist than Stephen Bannon.
Oh, yeah.
They're fucking real racist.
Them fucking gooks are racist as shit.
I thought force, you bastards! Unless you're a POW who's tortured and battered because to him you're zeros because he don't like his war heroes captured.
Shouts out to McCain.
That's not disrespecting the military.
Yeah, there's a lot of pro-military stuff in here too.
Oh yeah, because the kneeling, disrespect.
This is for
the
Colin.
military. We get it.
Ball up a fist.
Yeah, this is the part that really made me cringe. He like runs up with it with making like the black power fist. like,
oh
God, this is for Colin. Ball up a fist. And keep that shit balled like Donald the bitch. He's gonna get rid of all immigrants. He's gonna build that thing up taller than this. Well, if he does build it, I hope it's rock solid with bricks. Cause like him in politics, I'm using all of his tricks. Cause I'm throwing that piece of shit against the wall till it sticks.
It's so weak, dude. I don't know.
And any fan of mine who's a supporter of his, I'm drawing in the sand a line. You're either for or against. And if you can't decide who you like more and you're split on who you should stand beside, I'll do it for you with this.
Oh my God, they had to pixelate out the fucking, he flips off the camera. Look you. And they had to pixelate his fucking middle finger in 2017. Really? For real? You can't see a fucking middle finger? That's too much? What kind of old grandmas are up watching the BET Awards and checking out Eminem's verse here that they need to fucking blur the middle finger? This country is so weird. Like this guy, like it is a strange level of freedom and not freedom we have. Like you can literally go on national television and tell the president to fucking suck a dick, which you should be.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Right. You should be able to. Obviously, this is the other thing. Don't be confused. We have zero problem with Eminem doing this. We just didn't really like the verse. That's all. You know, if he wants to fucking hate Donald Trump, I don't give a shit. Whatever, it's fine. You know, but
I don't agree with his reasons. But
no,
and I really don't like the verse, and I think it could have been done in a better way.
Yeah, whatever. It just wasn't a good verse, anyways. But the weird kind of discrepancies that there are with freedom here is like, yeah, you go ahead, go on national TV. You know, tell the president he's a fucking cocksucking asshole, blah, 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 all this shit. But then if you hold your middle finger up, we can't have that. You got to blur that out. Like, you can't say shit or, like, show a boob. But, like, isn't it, it's just kind of, it's so unique, you know, it's kind of funny.
It is weird how selective the censorship is.
Well, and yeah.
In other countries, they can say anything they want on like television, and they can show tits all day.
Yeah, but a lot of places you'd have a way harder time criticizing public officials that hard, or even just using like foul language, like in Canada and shit. You know what I mean? A lot of countries are crazy about like language at all. But anyway, sorry.
That's what I love about America is that, you know, we don't. Some people do, but we don't police language completely yet. Like, we still have some sort of a First Amendment.
Yeah,
it's dwindling away.
Kind of. Yeah. No, I mean, the weird thing is it's been upheld. Like, I can't really complain very much about the Supreme Court and their interpretation of the First Amendment. They've been pretty solid. Like, to the point of acquitting everybody, every case that's come in front of them about sort of a frivolous threat to the president that, you know, law enforcement and the judicial system tried to make into a thing. The Supreme Court always ruled that they had the right to do it, and it wasn't a credible threat, at least. You know what I mean? They do shit that surprises me. You know, they're like our last line of defense sometimes.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. You got to depend on all these old people, these old judges, to save your country from destruction. But the weird thing is we censor all that stuff on television, but we are the creators of so much like just raunchy sexual culture that spreads out throughout the rest of the world, and it all starts here.
That is weird, huh?
You know, you cannot say that
some of it has to come from Brazil, right? You've seen those fucking videos of what they're up to in Brazil. Dude, there's dance clubs in Brazil that if you haven't seen it, you'll laugh your fucking ass off at what's going on. Like the these insanely over the top like acrobatic sex dancing that's going on.
Oh, nice.
Oh, dude. There's like
I haven't seen those.
There's chicks with giant asses just like beating the shit out of dudes with their ass, basically, like, you know, like twerking like hard as shit up and down, and like it looks violent sometimes, you know, but it's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost feel bad for the poor guy, huh?
Boy, would I hate to be in his shoes. Wink, wink. You know what I mean, buddy? Don't tell the missus.
No, I remember that in Germany, in Berlin especially, there's all these like a lot of nightclubs, but a lot of sex themed nightclubs where like you had to show up in like a gimp suit or like leather wear, and if you were wearing clothes, they would undress you in line and have you check all your clothes, and you only go in your underwear. It was very weird how other places are. You wouldn't find that here.
Yeah,
at least not.
We tend to export. We don't so much export like sexual liberation as just like you know, degradation and filth. Like that's what we're good at. You know, like we'll through our weird Protestant, you know, like Quaker influenced.
Our Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, like collective conscious that's so weird about sex here. The nervousness and giddiness and fucking and just it's a country full of 6-year-olds, you know, and and like we'll take that and convert it psychotically into fucking spitting in your mouth and coming on your face. Like, you know, like we'll export stuff like that.
That's what happens when you oppress
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It comes out all weird, dark.
Yeah.
Fucking
you get the like look at like Japanese porn, Chinese porn. It's like the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know how I was in a thread. I was reading on forums. I don't know, whatever you call them, and this one guy is just like, the thread was, why does it seem that every porn video's theme is like brother sister or incest now? Like it seems like a common theme. And someone commented in, like, they were like, this is the sickest video I've ever seen. And I clicked on it, and it was this Chinese game show where there's four ladies and one young boy, and one of them's his mother, and he has to fuck them all, and they're like behind a board, but their ass is out, and he has to fuck them all and figure out, guess which one's his mother by fucking them.
Huh.
That's the kind of shit they're making over there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's probably it's probably fake, but still, like,
right.
That is, I don't know, that's a strange way around, because that's a video for somebody who wants to fuck their mom but doesn't want to just make it like intimate and weird. They want to concoct a scenario where they're like, oh, what if like how would I have this way that I would have to fuck my mom? Like
I lost the game, I gotta do it.
I have to, it's fucking plausible in my head. Yeah, that's like a person that can't just go straight for their fantasy. They're just like, they need a way to fucking go around it, you know, like
I think you pinned it on the head. Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Like some guy that's that like wants to like fantasize about being gay, but instead he fantasizes that he goes to prison and gets raped, you know? Like, cuz he can't handle just doing it on his own. It's got to be somebody else's fault. That's what that is.
Yeah. Well, porn opens up that weird world where people explore every fantasy they have if they've got the free time.
You know what? Should we finish?
It's a good thing.
Should we finish this thing up really quick? The
Sure,
Eminem
sure.
thing. Oh wait, is
Rest
it
of
over?
America,
Oh, no, yeah.
stand up. We love our military.
Black fist is up.
And we love our country. But
Country.
Hey, Trump!
I mean, he's yelling like a 10-year-old. It's like that was such like a tantrum yell. Like, we fucking hate. That's like, I don't want to clean my room. That's like the style of yell that was, you know?
I think he has regressed in his behavior and his attitude and possibly his rap skills.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff, I mean, look, it's like, how long can a person put out that kind of intensity, you know, that the material that he used to put out was so labor intensive in terms of just writing. You know, it was so many multi-syllable rhymes, so much context and layers and stuff. You know, how many years can a person do that?
Yeah, I mean, he did it for long. I mean, like, he did it for longer than a lot of people. 'Cause sometimes a rapper will come around, you think they're going to be amazing, and then 2 albums later,
he did it longer. He did it longer than most people before he got discovered. I mean, he's put out a ton of shit. I don't know if you ever listened to Eminem's stuff from when he was a kid. You know, I mean, it's nothing that would hold up today. A lot of it, especially like the really early stuff from the late '80s and shit. But I mean, he was writing. You know, it was way better than most shit of its time.
I didn't know that. I love his D12 stuff.
I never liked D12 that much.
The blue and yellow, purple pills. I like that. Some of their songs.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I listen to D12, I realize like I'm just waiting for Eminem to come back on. Like, what is that? Fuck all these other guys.
Every time there's a cipher, you just when's it gonna get to M?
Fast forward to the white people, please.
Please, can we get to
white? How would you like? How awkward would it be to see like Eminem, Lil Dicky, Machine Gun Kelly, like an all-white cipher? Something would be wrong with that for some reason. Still to this day.
Yeah, I think they did that though. Like Yellow Wolf, Machine Gun Kelly, Eminem. I think they did do that.
Maybe
I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't like any of these rappers I'm listing off too. I hate that I know all their names.
Yeah, you somehow find out. Because, you know why? Because you see, like, oh, look at that thing. It's got 28 million views. And you go like, wow, this is like the new like hot thing right now. And so you check it out and you just can't even believe how fucking whack it is. You just pull it up. You're just like, dude, you're like, I don't know how many hundreds of times. Because there's, by the way, like 1,000 famous rappers now. And
every week there's a new one.
Yeah, and you see like a video that's got shitload, and I don't know how many hundreds of times I've fucking pulled this shit up and just been like, I would play some stuff too, but we'll have to give all our money to them. This copyright shit is really fucking tightened down now.
There's one song in.
Huh?
There's one song called Broccoli that I really hate, and I don't know if you've ever heard, you know what I'm talking about. Do you know that song?
No, but we can't. I don't want to play anything.
Yeah, we couldn't play it. Yeah, so whatever.
So good. Yes. Right after I say we can't play any songs is a good time for you to bring up a song. That's good instincts there. You're gonna go a long way, kid. All right, let's get out of here. It's over.
All right. Yeah, I'm done.
Overdose Talk Show. OverdoseTalkShow.com. Go check out some of our free downloads and shit. We're gonna have new content up there soon. Thanks again, everybody, for liking and subscribing. Tell your friends so we don't die in
we will
in a
die
pathetic state of mediocrity and anonymity here, as our unworthy contemporaries rise through the ranks of adoration and podcast statistics. Help us out, buddies.
We need your support more now than ever. Come on.
In the arms of we're a fucking sick dog of a show, dude. Help us out.
I hate those commercials.
Yeah. All right, bye.
All right. Good night.